Hello guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Today I'm here to share with you lesbian movies that's basically based on grief, based on losing someone who you love. Yes, these movies are very emotional and very heartbroken, but with a very strong plot. But before we get into further details, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. So first and foremost, we're gonna start off with What Makes a Family. It is a 2021 American drama film based on a true story. It follows Janini and Sandy, a lesbian couple living in Florida. After deciding to start a family, throughout, artificial insemination, Sandy gives birth to a daughter. In this case, name is Heather. However, tragedy strikes when Sandy passes away from complications of lupus severe years later. Because of Florida law at the time, they did not recognize, in this case, their marriage because they are two women married, and they couldn't, basically, complicate their parental rights, especially because of Jenny's situation. So basically, Jenny couldn't have parental rights over their daughter. Sandy's parents, in this case, sue for solo custody for Heather. Yeah, so things get extremely complicated, but because while you are grieving the loss of the love of your life, you are also worried about your daughter, and now you're not in a position where you have any rights over your daughter, and now you have to deal with other situations when it comes to your partner's family. So this movie gets very emotional. So I will highly recommend you also go ahead, go watch and go support it. Then moving forward, we have All Shall Be Well. It is a 2024 movie, yes. The story follows Angie and Pat, a well-off lesbian couple in their mid-60s who have lived together in Pat's apartment for 30 years. Their lives are, abandoned when Pat passes away suddenly one night. Because their marriage is not legally recognized in Hong Kong, Angie finds herself without legal rights to the shared home of Pat's estate. While Pat's family initially offers, sympathy, financial pressures soon, lead to rights, forcing Angie to fight for the dignity and the residency. So more of the story, I feel like is similar to the one in the first one that I mentioned, but this one is a little bit different because this time it doesn't involve kids, but it does involve, you grieving your partner, and also you try, to take ownership of what you all have built together after all these years that you all have been together. So this one is also very interesting, and like I said, it's super underrated. I don't feel like nobody's actually speaking about this movie. So hopefully in the future, in the very near future, if I have time, I will definitely be doing a review on it, because I do feel like this movie does deserve a little bit more credit than what it actually have got. And then moving forward, we have Julian. Julian is a 2025 film. After falling madly in love and getting engaged, Fleur and Julia launched the 22 project. Their goal is to get married in every country that, same, as marriage is actually, legalized. To raise awareness for marriage equality, the couple goes to the journey. After only 4 weddings, their ambition journey comes to a sudden end when Julia unexpectedly falls ill. The film shifts between their romantic adventure to later timeline where Fleur is basically grappling with grief and attempts to order Julia's, memory by sharing their story. So it starts as a love story, and then later on it goes into a moment of grief, and you just seeing how she was there for her partner through thick and thin, still trying to make sense of a reality that she will soon will have to be without her partner, while also being there through, with her partner through every single step of the way. In my personal opinion, this is one of the best lesbian movies ever made. I do feel like it will be going down in the books. I will definitely put it top 10. The story is so beautiful, and hopefully in the future we can get more, movies like this with such strong plots and that get very well, very well recognized. So definitely this one is a must watch. And then moving forward, we have Housekeeping for Beginners. It is a 2024 drama film. The story follows Dita, a lesbian woman who lives in a large apartment with her partner Sauda. Sauda's 2 daughters and severe other queer situations actually ends up developing. The central conflict arises when Sauda actually passes away with terminal cancer. Despite never wanting to be a mother, Dita is thrust into a role of primary caregiver for the 2 girls and faces legal restrictions and also navigating the loss of the true love. They also showcase, their relationship, how they had a very complex relationship, but also at the same time they loved each other a lot, and they knew that their relationship was very, very, very complicated. And obviously, you can later on see that Dita, she was put in a position where she had to become a mother, even though she never really wanted to be a mother, because she doesn't want to, in this case, leave the kids of the woman who she loved and who she dedicated so much of her life to, just in the care of someone else. So she had to make a lot of changes to her life that she wasn't expecting to make, but she decided to make to honor the memory of the woman who she loved. So yes, this one is super emotional, guys. Super, super, super emotional in my opinion. And then moving forward, we have My Fiona. It is a 2021 film. The story begins with an unexpected passing of Fiona, a successful businesswoman who seemed to have a perfect life. Her best friend and business partner Jane is left devastated. To find purpose and stay connected to her friend, Jane begins helping Fiona's widow, in this case her wife, Gemma, to care for the 7-year-old son. As Jane and Gemma navigate their shared loss, they form a very intense, intimate, and ultimately romantic relationship. But also at the same time, they start to feel guilty because it's like, I am her wife, I'm her widow, and you are her best friend. And now me and you, we are getting feelings for one another. Is this feelings really true feelings? Or are we just grieving because we both lost someone that we love a lot, and now we are finding a common bond to bond over? So there's a lot of complexity of emotions that go on between, in this case, in this movie. To be honest, I definitely did like the movie, even though at the end when they actually end up together, I was like, I don't know how to feel about this. But also, if you actually look at the movie, maybe if I go back and I look at the movie again, how maybe I will have a different opinion, because, like I said, I watched this movie years ago. So maybe I need to give it a second watch and I will form a different opinion. But yes, this movie is very emotional as well. If you have watched it, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And then moving forward, we have H.O. Valley. It is a 2025 movie. Katie, a horse trainer living on a Scruttle Farm in Pennsylvania. She is deeply grieving the recent passing of her wife, Patty, who got into a tragic riding horse accident. Throughout the movie, Katie is shown to, replaying her latest wife's saved voicemails as a way to cope with her loss. Her conflict centers on her daughter Claire, who has a very complicated situations going on in her life. She actually fakes a situation that ends up, just complicating their relationship a lot. So moral of the story, to make a long story short, is basically a complex and very toxic relationship between mother and daughter because of certain situations that develop throughout their lives. And obviously the mother, she was married and she lost her wife, and later on she also has a friend that comes in the picture who's also a lesbian that helps her, through this journey, and just trying to make sense of everything that she has going on, and just be like her peace, like a very good friend to her, just, so that she can escape, situations that she knows that she needs a break from. So, her friend, is like a breath of fresh air for her. This movie is super good. It's not centered on the lesbian storyline, but the lesbian storyline definitely is a very important plot in it. So yes, guys, that's basically it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you guys know any other great, lesbian movies when it comes to grief, please drop it down below in the comments. Thank you so much for all the love and all the support, and goodbye.